If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Hosted by Zay, Bonez, the MMA brothers.
Yo,
What's going on? What's going on?
what's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm alright.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll be alright.
All right.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is the UFC 302 review show. Today is June 2nd. A lot going on last night.
Yeah. What did you think about the card overall?
Overall, I would give the card, I would say it was almost like two whole different cards in one night, because you had the early prelims and the prelims. They were okay. It was a couple entertaining fights here and there, but then the main card was straight fire. So
Yeah.
it was like to tell of two different cards. Overall, I would give it a B minus.
Okay, we're doing letter grade. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, just because there was a lot of decisions and it was some questionable stuff that happened too.
Thinking Black say definitely two different cards. What was your biggest takeaway from the night?
My biggest takeaway is that Poirier is probably done as far as getting title shots. And we got to hear about Islam being a pound-for-pound GOAT and all that kind of nonsense, even though he only defended his GOAT against a lightweight one time. You know, so.
You heard what Dana said last night?
What?
They asked him that question, if you think Islam is the pound-for-pound GOAT. And he said anybody who's saying that while John Jones is still fighting is fucking nuts.
Yeah, like, did we forget that John Jones still exists? You know what I'm saying? But
and then they're like, oh, but John Jones took 3 years off, and he said, yeah. So speaking of that, he said no fighter has ever taken 3 years off in any fight sport and came back as dominant as he did. So he was like, yeah, that adds to it.
Yeah, and also the judges was wonky last night. We'll get to
that. That's definitely true. It was a couple. I mean, no decision fortunately went the wrong way, in my opinion, but there were definitely some splits that should have been unanimous.
Yeah.
So to kick off the night in the early prelims, we had, which was an entertaining fight, we had Lima versus Raposo in the flyweight fight. What you thought about that fight? Can you hear me?
Yeah, my bad, bro. I had myself muted. But I was going to say this first fight, it was pretty entertaining. I thought that Andre Lima was going to come in here and destroy Mitch Raposo because this is his our third time seeing him, and I feel like he has more potential than what we're seeing from him. But this is one of the fights that I was talking about where the judges completely got it wrong, and I feel like Mitch should have definitely won the fight.
You felt like Mitch should have won the fight?
Yeah, I feel like it was more competitive than what it was.
Nah, see, and that's why I 100% disagree with you. I feel like Diego Lima dominated the fight. I feel like the leg kicks had Raposo on the ropes from round one all the way through. Raposo looked like he had a lot of speed. He had the speed advantage, but he wasn't really letting his hands go. Then that was the first round was the most competitive round, and I feel like Lima won that round. And then in the second round, he just pulled away. At one point, Raposo was asked by the referee, "Do you want to fight or not?" Because he kind of like, but one time he did get poked, but another time he like didn't at all. And he tried to pretend like he did, and the ref asked him, "Do you want to fight or not?" And then in the third round, he got dropped with leg kicks. I feel like Lima could have got the finish, but he didn't. And then, so when they went to the scorecards, it was pretty obvious who won the fight. And one judge, I don't know how he could find 2 rounds to give to Mitch Raposo, but it was a split decision. It was 2 judges saw the same fight that I did, and I guess one of them saw the fight that you did. That's pretty interesting. What made you think he won?
I just felt like Lima, I feel like he should have finished the fight, and I felt like the eye pokes definitely compromised Mitch a little bit, to be honest with you. That's pretty much it.
But that's not saying anything that Mitch did to win. That's just saying Lima should have won more decisively.
Yeah, and then I believe Mitch, I'm looking at the stats. I think he had more significant strikes. Total strikes Lima did have, but Mitch had more significant strikes. I'm looking at the fight thing right now. The fight stat on the screen.
Yeah, I think those stats could be a little misleading just because even if I land more strikes than you in a fight, if it's a street fight, yeah, I get it. But if it's like if we're judging round by round, yeah, somebody say you're on drugs.
Yeah.
I feel like if we judge it, what's up, Dean? If we judging round by round, then I could land all of my strikes in one round, and then you outstrike me for the rest of the fight, and I still lost that fight. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you probably are still tipsy. Next up, women's bantamweight bout. We had Eileen Perez versus Jocelyn Edwards. That fight was pretty entertaining. They did a lot of grappling. I feel like Jocelyn could have let her hands go more. First round, Eileen Perez came out and went for a takedown. She got it, and then they kept reversing each other back and forth, back and forth. It was probably like a good 4 sweeps in that round. That was pretty entertaining. I don't mind the grappling, especially when it's very active. Second round, Jocelyn Edwards started stuffing the takedown. Then she finally did initiate the clinch and got a takedown, but Eileen Perez reversed it. Jocelyn got back up. Jocelyn kind of pulled away in that round, and then Dean, the spinning back fist dropped Jocelyn. That was pretty nasty. I thought the fight was going to be finished there, but she was able to recover. And then in the third round, I feel like I don't know. I felt like it was 1-1 going into the third round, but Jocelyn Edwards kind of like she started trying to let her hands go more, using the leg kicks. I feel like she should have been using those through the whole fight, but she wasn't. I thought this was gonna be more grapple heavy fight from Eileen Perez, but she actually kind of held her own on the feet. Jocelyn Edwards caught her with a nasty little uppercut in the third round, and Jocelyn looked like she was starting to win the third, but then Eileen got a takedown, and
Yeah,
that was pretty much that.
I thought Jocelyn would try to keep the fight more so standing and use her range, but she implemented a lot of clinch work and a lot of takedowns. She couldn't really do nothing once she got Eileen Perez on the ground. And then in the second round, the spinning back fist was pretty nasty. I thought she was gonna finish her. I was hoping she was. And Jocelyn did have the headbutt too. She headbutted her when she was on top.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was very intentional.
Yeah, that was very egregious. I feel like she possibly could have got a point taken away for that, but yeah, they moved on from it.
And we saw a situation just like 2 weeks ago where somebody got disqualified from a headbutt.
Yeah, so the right person won here, Eileen Perez. Great post fight, also. That's pretty much all I have for this. So I thought that Jocelyn would try to keep the fight more standing, but she didn't do.
I feel like she should have been a little more active on her feet, but I think that spinning back fist got her attention.
Yeah, let's set her down real quick.
Yeah, it did. Eileen Perez calling out man, I can't think of her name right now, from ATT.
Redhead?
Nah, the one who she just beat Holly Holm.
Oh, Kayla Harrison. Yeah, I don't think she won that.
Kayla Harrison.
She don't want that.
I mean, I think she won it, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. Next up in the welterweight bout, last fight of the early prelims, we had the return of Mickey Gall versus Basil Hafez. And man, this was an awesome fight. The first round started, Basil came out, guns blazing. You could tell he was looking for the knockout right away. I say for about the first 2.5 minutes, Basil Hafez was on the offense. He was walking Mickey down, pretty much chasing him around the octagon, throwing power shots. He connected with quite a few of them, had Mickey hurt a couple of times, and Mickey started to find his range, and he started counter-striking because Basil was loading up. Mickey Gall started catching him with some nasty jabs. He hurt him a little bit, and the first round was kind of a toss-up. I would say Basil won the first round just because he was more aggressive. But in the second round, I felt like Mickey won the second round. And the impressive thing about it to me is he did it with his striking. I would just like to say, Dean say, I think he tried to say slobber knocker. That's what Joe Rogan called it. I would like to say that I was very impressed with Mickey Gall for the simple fact that you can tell he obviously improved his striking.
Yeah.
I've never seen him look so good. Basil Hafez did get the win. I feel like he was the rightful winner, but man, that was a close fight. That was a good fight. These two guys just went to war. It's the first time I didn't see Mickey Gall look desperate to get the fight on the ground. He just kind of like dealt with the adversity and fired back and stood his ground, and it was really good to see.
I'm putting Basil Hafez in my top 14 favorite fighters. He's along with Chepe.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I don't want to do top 15. I like even numbers. But he's along with Chepe Mariscal as part of newer UFC fighters that may not even be contenders, but I just enjoy watching them fight, and I love the tenacity and the dog that he got in him. I thought that because coming off of his last fight against Jack Three Name, I thought that he would try to use his clinch work and his wrestling and everything like that to kind of stifle Mickey Gall. But I think he didn't go for a takedown until like maybe the third round after he got clipped a little bit. As soon as the fight started, he took the center of the octagon and he just pressed Mickey Gall and he was throwing some bombs. He was throwing some bombs on Mickey Gall, and he cracked him a couple times and had him leaking. The first round I gave to Basel Hafez. The second round, Mickey Gall kind of came in and started taking the fight back a little bit, and it became more competitive. I don't know if I would give Mickey Gall the second round per se, but he was definitely more competitive. And in the third round, it just became more of a war of attrition. And Basel, he would get hit with these bombs, and then he would immediately, like tell Mickey Gall, come on, or he would say something to him and just keep pushing forward. And that's the kind of fighter that I like to see. That even when you're getting thrashed and getting hit, you're still moving forward and you still got a dog in you.
Yeah, I don't know if he just underestimated Mickey Gall or what, but
I think he did.
I feel like he did too.
Because like you said, his stand-up was never like his bread and butter. It was always his grappling. So, I mean, I underestimated him too. I didn't think he was going to be able to withstand that for 3 rounds.
And he started to wear himself out too.
Yeah.
Because I think not only did he underestimate the offensive skills of Mickey Gall on his feet, I think he also underestimated Mickey Gall's chin. So even though in the loss, I was still impressed with both fighters. And yeah, at this point of the night, I thought, okay, so far this is the fight of the night.
Yeah, so far at this point, this was the fight of the night by far.
Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter. We appreciate the support. If you want to jump over to YouTube so you can interact with us, hit the like and subscribe button. We would appreciate it. Next up, to start off the regular prelims, we had the Fresh Prince, Phil Rowe versus Jake Matthews in the welterweight bout. How you felt about this fight?
This is kind of what I expected to happen. Phil Rowe, he can get some shots in, and he's a snapper. He's accurate, but sometimes he just don't really let his hands go. And I felt like Matthews was more well-rounded, and Matthews kind of kept the pressure on him. There were times when Phil Rowe would unleash a combination of 3, 4 combos or whatever, but overall, it was a Phil Rowe fight. He's inconsistent. There are fights where he come out and look impressive, like what he did against my boy Nico Price in his hometown of Orlando. But then there are other times where he just kind of don't really let his hands go, and he could, I feel like he can do more, especially with the reach advantage that he do have. I feel like he can, use more deep kicks or just be a little bit more active. I think.
Yeah, the first round, Phil Rowe looked like he was going to get a finish. He was sniping Jake Matthews. It was kind of hard for him to find the range. It was hard for him to get inside, I should say. And Phil Rowe busted Jake Matthews' nose up. He stunned him a couple of times. But at some point towards the end of the second round, Jake Matthews clipped him, and I think it was when Phil Rowe tried to do a flying knee, and Jake Matthews just caught him in midair with an overhand. And once he got hit with that punch, I think the fight shifted. Phil Rowe, that was towards the end of the first round, and he had this look on his face, like I think that took his confidence away from him, and he stopped. I don't know, like his. I would like to see Phil Rowe improve his footwork.
Yeah. Shout out to Jose Lopez. It's crazy how long Jake has been in the UFC. This is like his 20th UFC fight.
Yeah, it's because he came in young, man. That's the same thing you see it with like fighters like Max Holloway, who you feel like they old because they've been around for forever, but they just started young, man. It is pretty crazy. So Jake Matthews definitely earned this win. I feel like he had Phil Rowe stuck in mud at times. He would close the distance and start throwing bombs, and Phil Rowe wouldn't really move his head or step back. He would kind of like just sit there and in the range when he shouldn't have to.
Crazy injury prone.
Injury prone though. Yeah, that does seem to be a problem that Jake has, but he was very impressive. You did call out exactly how this fight was going to play out. Jake Matthews just got that dog in him, and I do still think that he can have a bright future in the UFC.
What about Phil Rowe? What do you think about his future in the UFC?
I think Phil Rowe need to work on some footwork. he's too inconsistent. Like you said, he need to work on his footwork. I feel like, and I feel like sometimes, all right. Like for example, a lot of times he would throw, but knowing that he has the reach advantage, he doesn't like. There is no in and out. You get what I'm saying? Like he's accurate, but I would just like to see him use his movement better. And then it's crazy because he got taken down on the clinch that he initiated. Like he tried to go for a takedown and ended up getting taken down. And then I think that really drained him.
That's one thing that's like a pet peeve of mine when you got fighters that's their clear path to victory is stand up and then they initiated clinch against somebody who's better at grappling than they are.
That's the second time he did it too.
Yeah, and that just shows kind of like lower fight IQ. They're both inconsistent, but I would say that Matthews, when he loses, he's losing to top upper, like fighters that's better than him. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because of lack of pulling the trigger or something like that.
Right.
Phil Rowe, when he loses, he can lose to somebody that's not as good as him because he refuses to pull the trigger, so to say, or he refuses to unleash his arsenal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Phil Rowe also, when he fought Neil Magny, did the same thing. He hurt him on the feet and then he clinched him. This was a little different situation because when he went for the takedown, I don't think he had Jake Matthews hurt, but it was kind of funny to see. It's like Jake Matthews kind of swatted him away. Like you could tell he got some strong hips because when he shot in for the takedown, it's just like they just was like stood still for a second, and then Phil Rowe ended up going backwards. Kind of big problem there in that situation.
Yeah, he did.
But well-deserved win for Jake Matthews. Next up, we had a lightweight bout between Grant Dawson and Joe Selecki. Grant Dawson got back on track with a W, coming off of knockout loss to Bobby Green. I feel like that's always important to see how a fighter responds to an L, especially when it's their first L. But this fight was not as entertaining as I thought it would be. It got pretty bloody. Grant Dawson took a nasty elbow from the bottom when he was in full guard, and it split him open. And he was threatened with a guillotine early, but other than that, it was a whole bunch of lay and pray. I feel like Joe Selecki's jiu-jitsu off his back kind of canceled out Grant Dawson's offense on top. So Grant Dawson would get the takedown early in the round, and then that's what it would be for the whole 5 minutes. Every single round played out the same way. And that was pretty much it. Rinse and repeat.
So with Joe Selecki, like he has good enough jiu-jitsu to not get submitted, but it wasn't good enough to get his ass off the ground, like, basically, you know what I'm saying? Because they basically, like you said, like when Grant Dawson would take him down besides the elbow, he didn't really offer nothing from the ground, and he didn't really get up too much. Grant Dawson was just able to just basically just stifle him for 3 rounds, Much needed win for Grant Dawson. He needed this W, like real bad. And let's see where he can go from here.
All right, next up, we had number 7 heavyweight Jailton Almeida versus number 13 Alexander Romanov. This fight played out exactly how I thought it would. Jailton Almeida, a lot of times all he needs is one takedown. He got that one takedown. Ended up getting a rear naked choke. And he made really quick work of Romanov, making him tap at 2 minutes and 27 seconds in the first round.
Yeah, this is exactly what he needed. It's not enough for him to get the takedown. We're not satisfied seeing Jailton Almeida take somebody down. But what he needs to do is submit his opponents, and what you did. And you called it, bro. You said that Romanov, you can look at this picture and see what kind of shape he was in, and he came in and it kind of showed. Johnson Almeida was able to take him down with the. I believe he had like the single leg, and he was able to get him down, and he was able to get that rear naked choke. At first, it was like a neck crank because you can tell he had his forearm over the jaw, and he was squeezing real tight.
Right.
And then you seen Romanov when he released it, he was like moving his jaw. Like, you know, like if your jaw hurt, you kind of like moving it around a little bit. So I feel like he possibly could have broke his jaw, you know, if he would have held on a little bit longer. But he was able to get the rear naked choke in and submit him, and that was a very much needed win for Dawson. I mean, you can see how emotional he was too after the fight because he really needed that. And I would like to see where he goes from here. I don't really have an opponent in mind off the top of my head, but I mean, I would definitely like to see him see where he can go from here, though.
Well, he had an opponent in mind. He won a fight in France, and I think they're gonna try to match him up with Cyril Gane.
Ooh, I don't think he
Which
wants
would be
that.
a nightmare matchup for Cyril Gane.
Yeah. What?
So if they really want to give Johnson Almeida that push, then
You think he'll beat Cyril Gane?
yeah, definitely.
Nah, I like Cyril Gane in that fight.
You do?
Yeah.
Did you see Cyril Gane versus Did you see
John
Cyril
Jones
Gane versus Ngannou?
Yeah, but I'm
Did you see
believing
Cyril Gane versus John Jones.
John Jones. Yeah, I seen it. But I'm believing that Cyril Gane worked on his craft and he's gonna be better.
I mean, he can be better, but that don't mean he'll be good enough.
Because
I feel like you can't close that gap when the
all right, look, you can't close the gap of the groundwork, but you can close the gap as far as your takedown defense. All Cyril Gane got to do is not get taken down, which is saying a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Who's
But if he
ever
cannot-
fought Johnson Almeida that has not been taken down?
It's gonna be Cyril Gane. He might get taken down once, but I feel like he can
That's
get
all
back.
it
Just
takes.
don't repeatedly get taken down. We'll see what happens, though.
I feel like one is all he'll need. I feel like he'll take him down one time and fight will be over. Dean says Zay won't do against the doctor. Yeah, that's my little UFC nemesis right there. Should I see you later, Dean?
I need to get me a rematch in too, bro, from last night.
Nah, you don't want no problems. Yeah, I was pretty upset about the main event last night, so I took it out on
Me and Chris, you ran a little gauntlet.
on everybody I could find on UFC on the PS5. But up next, I'm gonna let you take this one away because I know you have
Boy, Kopilov. Yeah, Kopilov. I thought this was gonna be more of a stand-up kickboxing kind of fight. He did get the W. He implemented his clinch work and his takedown to stifle Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida, he's a newer MMA fighter, and you can kind of tell because once you get on the ground, he just don't get back up basically, and he just kind of content with just landing on the ground.
Yeah, he Cyril Gane that shit, didn't he?
Yeah. Just like my coach used to tell me, you know, the ground is hot lava, and as soon as your back touch, you got to get back up ASAP. You know, so. But I'm just happy that Kopilov got the win. I don't care how he got it. He needed this W, and he's back on track. You know.
Yeah, Kopilov, I thought could have got the finish in the first round. Cesar Almeida, they're both decorated kickboxers. Everybody thought this fight was going to play out just strictly on the feet. I thought I gave Kopilov the edge just because he's younger, faster. In the first round, they were both throwing really crisp, sharp strikes. Almeida started hitting him with some nasty body kicks. Kopilov eventually dropped him with a 1-2. Kopilov let him get back up. He started pulling away in that round. Then in the second round, towards the end of the first round, Roman went for a takedown and he got it. When the second round started, he looked like he was fatigued. I don't know if it's because of the wrestling when he's not really used. That's not really an aspect of his game that we ever see. So, but Cesar Almeida had absolutely no answer for the takedowns. couldn't stop the takedowns, couldn't get back up. He was a sitting duck on the ground. Second round, Cesar Almeida did start coming back. He was landing some body shots in the clinch, nasty body shots too. You could tell Romanov's cardio was starting to fail him, and then he did stop 2 takedowns in the second round, but I think overall, Kopilov was like 6 of 8 for takedowns. And he pretty much just grinded out a decision victory, which, like you said, was much needed because he came off of a loss. I'm really interested to see what his future going to look like. Obviously, he's working on adding some tools to his tool belt. This is another fight though that I did not understand how they gave it a split decision. Like I don't see how any judge could have saw that fight going for Almeida.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, bro. That made no damn sense. I don't understand that.
Yeah, the judges was kind of crazy last night.
Hey, but for me, this was you got to look into like the fighter and the history of the fighter. Roman Kopilov, I believe he has 3 losses on his record. 2 of those losses are by submission. So for this fight, he wanted to implement his groundwork better. His groundwork just to kind of show fans like me who kind of worried about his ground game that he actually improving himself and getting better. So I feel like this was a big deal for him. Not just him winning, but the way that he won.
Right.
It shows that he's working on his craft, and I like to see that.
It's the only way to get better. But that concluded the prelims. Next up, to kick off the main card, welterweight division, we had Rude Boy Randy Brown versus Alessio Zaleski dos Santos. Randy Brown came out in the first round, pretty much used his range. This fight pretty much played out how I thought it would. He was picking him apart, using teep kicks. One teep kick he hit him with right down the middle. When I saw him do it, I was like, that's how you break.
He broke his toe. Yeah.
Because I saw the way it landed. It's like he just stabbed him in the gut with his toes. And then he pretty much stopped throwing him. He threw a couple more leg kicks. Just like I say, he stood on the outside and pieced him up. That was definitely Randy Brown's round. In the second round, Dos Santos kind of rushed forward, clipped Randy Brown, and then I don't know if that was a drop or a takedown. How would you call it?
That was more takedown slip. I don't want to call it a drop.
Like when he hit him, it's like he was going down, but I don't want to say he actually dropped. But Dos Santos wrapped him up, took him on the ground, and he was fishing for rear naked chokes. Randy Brown had Randy Brown in a lot of trouble. And so I would have actually said Dos Santos won the second round. And then Randy Brown came back and, well, actually not, because towards the end of the round, Randy Brown did revert and almost got a choke of his own and got some ground and pound in. But I feel like throughout the round, that was a toss-up round. I could see how the judges see. It's crazy because this fight, I would have understood a split decision. But it was unanimous Randy Brown. I think the right guy won, definitely. Randy Brown kind of pulled away in the third round. And after the fight, he said that, I broke my toe in the first round.
This fight was pretty impressive. Dos Santos, he had that rear naked choking in pretty tight, and I thought that Randy Brown was going to ruin my ticket because I was doing good so far. But Randy Brown, Rude Boy, he was able to get up out of that. And I feel like that kind of took a little bit out of Dos Santos, when you basically down there like squeezing the guy with your everything and able to get out of it, and then possibly still finish that round, like winning that round. That does take a lot out of you mentally. I just want to see how far Randy Brown can go in this division. I would like to see him fight Kevin Holland next, but I think Kevin Holland gonna stay at middleweight. I'm not sure. But that's definitely a fight I would like to see though. Or even Joaquin Buckley, but I know Buckley ain't gonna fight him because Buckley already in the rankings.
I can see Buckley fighting him.
Buckley, remember, I don't know if you heard his last interview off the Anakin Florian podcast, but he was saying that they offered him Ian Gary, he turned that down, and then they offered him MVP, and he turned that down. And he was saying that the reason he turned it down is because I think MVP is lower in the rankings than he is, and he was trying to fight up, not down.
He said it has something to do with the timing as well.
Yeah, that too, because MVP is ranked number 13.
He fought back to back.
Yeah.
So I think that was more so the issue as opposed to the rankings. But I think if he fought Randy Brown, that would be a lot of ground he giving up on size.
Hey, but look at the last guy he fought though. The last guy was like 6'2", I think. When the guy he fought in his hometown.
True.
You know, so. And plus, you got to think most fights he already gonna be the shorter fighter.
Always. Next up, we had a fight that I felt like should have been on the prelims. You could have put Jailton Almeida in this spot.
Well, you know how they put Nico right here because they thought this was gonna be a banger and knockout, whatever.
Yep, Nico Price, the hybrid versus Alex, the Great White Morona. Yeah, this fight right here was a rematch, 6-7 years in the making. The first time out, Nico Price knocked out Alex Morona. The fight starts off, Alex Morona is definitely faster. But Nico Price obviously has way more power. Nico Price definitely won the first round, but he was getting clipped, but he was just eating them. It's almost like he didn't respect the power of Alex Morona whatsoever. He clipped Alex Morona a couple of times. In the second round, Alex Morona was just gassed. Nico Price incorporated some takedowns. He almost got caught in the first round in like an omoplata.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy. And then he turned like the wrong way and got his other arm wrapped up. I don't know how he got out of that, but I think that was the most danger he was in throughout the whole fight. Nico Price pretty much dominated this fight. I feel like he should have been able to finish Morona because Morona was definitely gassed. I would have liked to see Nico Price throw some punches to the body. Neither guy really threw punches to the body. Nico Price never in a boring fight. That being said, I do feel like this was the most boring Nico Price fight I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But he definitely earned the win. Alex Morona, his cardio abandoned him, and I don't understand. I don't even see how he made it through the fight to the decision. I thought he was definitely gonna get finished. Everything was just labored.
Yeah, he should have got finished. And just I don't know, like his stance and like his fighting style just a little awkward. You know what I'm saying? Alex Morona, I'm talking about. Nico was definitely hitting him with a lot of good shots, and when he got caught in the omoplata, I was screaming to the top of my lungs, man. Like I was like, damn, he turned the wrong way. I thought he was going to get finished, but he was just able to kind of power out of it, and that's maybe because Morona was tired, you know. Like if that was in the first maybe 2 minutes of the fight, he probably would have got finished. You know what I'm saying? But he was able to escape it, and I was just happy he got a dub coming off that knockout from Robbie Lawler where he was out cold. So he needed this.
Yeah, he did. Shout out to Nico Price. Definitely earned that one. I don't see either guy like ever really being like a top 10 fighter though.
Me either.
Especially at this point in the game, I feel like
Nico done took a lot of damage, man.
Yeah, he has. He took a lot last night, but it's just he was just eating it. It's like sometimes it's like I don't know. He don't really have no head movement, and he just kind of plodded forward and ate punches, but he just delivered the harder punches. Next up, we had Kevin the Trailblazer Holland versus Michal Olashechuk, and This fight was kind of worrying me. This is like the third fight I had on the parlay. I picked Kevin Holland.
Alice looked like me at the Taco Bell.
Yeah, this is crazy. Olashesha caught Kevin Holland with a nasty
Left hook, right?
yeah, pretty much, and caught him right on the chin. He was trying to lean back from it, but Olashesha is kind of long, so it still connected. He dropped Kevin Holland, and he went down to try to finish him. Kevin Holland caught him in the arm bar, and he was bending his arm. McCall wasn't going to tap. Kevin Holland looks at the referee and says,
I'm gonna break this shit.
I'm gonna break this shit. And then McCall stood in top, and then he went to bending his elbow in the way that it definitely is not supposed to bend. The referee looks at it and like, this fool not gonna tap. It's goddamn 4 minutes left in the round. I'm gonna just go ahead and save him from himself. And he stopped the fight. And you made a very interesting point last night.
Yeah, let me do it, bro. So basically, the referee that was the referee in this fight was Herb Dean, and I immediately had a flashback to Tim Sylvia and versus Frank. That was Frank Mir, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tim Sylvia, Frank Mir, where Frank Mir had Tim Sylvia arm, and he was going to take it home with him. Tim Sylvia refused to tap out, and basically his arm snapped. And Herb Dean went, stop the fight, stop the fight, stop the fight. You know, that's one of the great audios of UFC history. So Herb Dean had a flashback with this one because it's the referee's job to protect the fighter. That's the referee's number one job. This guy's arm was bent in two different ways, and it was already hyperextended. And I don't know, you know, I didn't hear the medical report. I don't know how severe he broke it or whatever, but he definitely did some damage to the arm because he couldn't even pick it up when he was walking out the octagon.
Yeah, he tried to complain, but he couldn't lift his arm up. He lifted one arm up like why you stopped it? Yeah, Thick and Black says Trailblazer, and thank you to Herb Dean. I'm pretty sure that's what he means because yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, man. So that was a great job by Herb Dean in a night that had a lot of bad judging. This was a great job by Herb Dean. I really respected that.
Yeah, me too. He did the right thing. And he asked Dana White about it, how he felt about it. He said it was a great stoppage because kept that guy from getting some permanent damage to his arm.
Yeah, because I mean, I like Mikhail, and I want to see him fight again.
Yeah, he was willing to. And it's like at what point, like, okay, like you willing to lose your arm, like you're not getting out of this arm bar. If it breaks, you lost, and it's about to break. So why not just tap?
Yeah,
I don't get that bravado sometimes.
It's that Polish toughness, man.
Yeah, but is it really being tough or is it dumb?
Yeah.
I said thank you to Herb Dean at the stoppage. Yeah, I didn't catch that. I guess like he was like, yeah, I don't want to break his arm. Holland jumped out of the cage and went right over to talk to
your boy,
number 45 and Dana White.
Hey, people love that too. The crowd was going crazy for that.
Yeah, man, the 34-time convicted felon sitting cage side.
Y'all former president.
Could you imagine if we had 34 felonies?
We wouldn't even be here right now. We'll be locked up.
Yeah, man. But that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother day. Next up, and what I thought was going to be the fight of the night, we had a middleweight bout. Number 1, Sean Strickland versus number 7, Paulo the Eraser Costa. Sean Strickland, I was very interested to see, and I even said it before the fight started. Like, what I'm interested to find out is who's gonna walk who down. Like, who's gonna be the first one to take a step backwards? Because both of these guys, when they fight, if you ever see them fight, they constant pressure. They just walk their opponents down and pretty much wear on them and wear them out. Sean Strickland walked Paulo Costa down. Costa came out immediately and threw 2 leg kicks that you can tell they affected Sean because it made him switch stances for a little while. But then eventually he went back to his regular Philly shell stance and left that lead leg out there. He started checking kicks a little bit. Sean Strickland walked Paulo Costa down in the first round, but Costa was definitely more active, so I gave Costa the first round. But in the second round, Sean Strickland pulled away, got way more offensive. He dropped Paulo Costa once. He started checking those kicks. He was using the teeps to the body to keep him just keep pushing him back. And towards the end of the second round, you see Costa starting to gas. In the third round, I feel like Sean Strickland just pulled away a little more. Costa did have some nice offense, but I feel like every time he would get off, Sean Strickland would answer. Sean Strickland kept putting the pressure on him. You could see him gassing even more. He actually landed a head kick, which I've never seen him land before. That kind of threw Costa into the cage. They went into the corner, and Costa's corner told him he was up 2 rounds to 1, which I didn't really like that. But I don't know if they were trying to. The announce team was saying they were trying to keep him from
losing focus.
Yeah, losing focus and whatnot. But I feel like they should have kept it real with him. But hey, they know their fighter better than I do. Overall, this fight was not as entertaining as I thought it would be. It wasn't as much activity. It was still entertaining. It wasn't as much activity. I thought it was going to be more of a brawl. It was more of a technical fight, which I definitely do still appreciate. And Sean Strickland, I did think that he was going to win by decision because I feel like I said yesterday, Friday, I should say, if Paulo Costa can't break you, then he won't beat you. And Sean Strickland didn't get broken. I do know that he was limping after the fight, though, so those leg kicks definitely hurt him. Oh, one of the leg kicks that he checked, I think in the third round, had Paulo limping. So
yeah,
that was really big, too. Sean Strickland very defensively sound. At one point, when I was watching it originally, I thought Paulo Costa won 2 rounds, but I did go back and watch that, and I think he may have won round 1, and that was it.
Yeah. I got a question, bro.
What's up?
Why is Paulo Costa ranked number 7? I don't get it.
I don't know. I would have to see 6 through 1.
But his only win in the last, since Yoel Romero, his only win is Luke Rockhold.
But if how many fights has he had since Yoel?
Since Yoel, he's had about 4 fights. Yeah, Marvin Vittori.
That was at 205, so I don't think they counted it at this weight class.
I mean, a loss is a loss, though, so I'm gonna count it. So basically, you got Sean Strickland is number 1, Adesanya number 2, Whitaker number 3, Cannonier number 4, Vittori number 5, Brendan Allen number 6, Costa number 7, Nasruddin Imanov number 8, Jack Hermanson number 9, Khamzat Chimaev number 10.
Yeah, I think he fit right in at 7, to be honest.
But I don't understand how you still have a top ranking when you're constantly losing fights, though. Like, that don't really make sense to me. You feel me? But this fight kind of played out how I thought.
Too, like he's dropped because he at one point he was 1 or 2. So I mean, he's dropping in the ranking. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah,
it's not like he's just sitting there.
So since Adesanya, he lost against Vittori, and then he beat Luke Rockhold, and then he lost against Whitaker, and he just had his loss.
And that Vittori fight was not in his weight class, so that was a 205.
Okay, so yeah, so they're not counting that. So you basically just got Luke Rockhold, and you lost against Bobby Knuckles and Sean Strickland. Okay.
And then when you lose against Robert Whitaker, while Robert Whitaker is number 2 or 3, I mean, it don't really drop you that much. You get what I'm saying? But I feel like this will definitely put him down to like maybe 9. Especially depends on what happens Saturday with Cannonier and Imavov.
I'd like to see him fight Cannonier. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah, me too. But I would really like to see him fight Dricus, but not for the belt though, because he don't deserve that. But that's just a
Yeah.
matchup that I would like to see somewhere down the line.
Yeah. So this fight, being that it was 5 rounds, I figured there was no like. Paulo Costa had a very, very, very slim chance of winning this fight, being it was 5 rounds, because his cardio don't last. 5 rounds. All that muscle, you get tired quick. By the time the second round came around, his mouth was already open. He was breathing a little bit heavy, and Strickland was kind of walking him down. And Strickland, like my brother said, threw a head kick that actually dropped him in the last 20 seconds of the fight. Um, Paulo Costa, whenever he gets hit, he just kind of sticks his tongue out. You know what I'm saying? He is tough, and I do respect him. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he'll be UFC champion. Though, to be honest.
I don't think so too. I think Izzy broke him.
Yeah, yeah, because when you have a fighter that's 8-9-0, have all that confidence and bravado, and then you go in there and get embarrassed by Izzy the way you did, that takes a lot of your confidence away. And he's just not the same fighter. He's good enough to beat like the people that's in the lower part of the rankings, but when he comes to facing like the upper echelon, he comes up short. But this is a good win for Strickland. I want to see him get his rematch. Get a title shot back, whether it's Izzy or Duplessis. I feel like he should face the winner.
Yeah, he said he probably gonna wait for that.
He should. Don't take no fight.
I can't see him if he waiting too long. I could definitely see him taking another fight though.
Yeah, me too.
Oh boy! And last but definitely not least, we have the main event of the evening. We have the undisputed lightweight champ Islam Makhachev versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier, and what would be widely recognized as Poirier's last title shot. Last chance to finish the story. Thinking Black said, agreed. Hype and confidence seemed to hit a wall at Izzy. That's absolutely true. But yeah, man, this fight right here, I was real hyped for it. I had my hopes up. And Dustin Poirier put up one hell of a fight. It definitely made Islam look human, extremely human. But in the end, Islam remained victorious. I was interested to see this fight go to the scorecards because considering how the judges seemed like they had no respect for grappling last night. And there was a lot of crazy, wonky stuff going on with the judges. I was wondering how it would play out. Islam came out, definitely got the first round with the takedown, pretty much held Dustin down and had his back for 4 minutes of the first round. In the second round, he couldn't really get those takedowns, and Dustin started piecing them up a little bit. Third round, Trevor said only one story being finished, and that's with Cody Rhodes. Yeah, if only somebody could have scripted Dustin's then, But hey, can't win them all. I'm not gonna lie, that shit really sucked.
I know, bro.
So yeah, Dustin in the third round, man, he started doing his thing a little bit. Islam couldn't get the takedowns. Islam was getting tired. Islam did land some good shots on the feet. Dustin split him open with an elbow, had him leaking bad. Every time they went to the corner, you see Khabib yelling at Islam. Getting mad. Got into the fifth round. Nobody saw the fight going that far. And Poirier ended up getting taken down and he got darsed. Islam did have it was kind of tricky whenever he had his back. It's like he would switch to one side, like he was going to go for an arm bar, and that would open up for a rear naked. And so he kept switching back and forth. I was really proud of how Poirier, he definitely, even at this age, showed improvement. It was just, he showed a lot of improvement. He wasn't giving up the takedowns. I will say this, even in the loss, I feel like he exposed Islam a little bit. He laid out the blueprint. Don't let him keep him in the middle of the cage, and it's harder for him to take you down. And they were, even his corner was telling them, at no cost, no matter if you get hit or whatever, you let this guy back you up to the cage. And for Dustin Poirier, somebody who's extremely comfortable fighting with his back against the cage, I could imagine it took a real concentrated level of focus in order to keep that from happening. But he did, and I think other people are going to see that and say, okay, so that's one of the blueprints to having more success against Islam.
Yeah. Man, this fight just really just bothered me so much, man. Just hearing Khabib in the corner.
Trust me.
Yeah. Man, Poirier, I feel like you said, bro, like that was one key to his game plan was staying in the center of the cage because I believe pretty much most of Islam's takedowns came when Dustin's back was against the cage because if his back wasn't against the cage, Poirier would push his head down and kind of like twist out of it, you know what I'm saying, or spin out of it.
All right.
Which he was doing a good job of, and I gotta give Poirier his props because you can definitely tell that he was in the training room practicing and stuff and trying to implement his game plan. So, because the Khabib fight, as soon as he got taken down, it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So I really did respect his improvement in the grappling department. He caught Islam with a nasty elbow, and it busted him open. And the thing about Islam, I seen in the first Volkanovski fight, he get this look on his face whenever he get kind of busted open or pieced up, where his eyes get big. You know what I'm saying? He get like more desperate,
like a deer in headlights.
Yeah. And I thought maybe Poirier can capitalize on that. Islam, he do be eating some shots though. I gotta give it to him. He be eating some shots. You know, he also gives some shots too. He had Poirier pretty busted open. You know, Poirier he definitely took some damage from the stand up.
He had a headbutt that I believe broke his nose too. I'm not gonna call it a headbutt. I'm gonna say they clashed heads because it wasn't intentional. But they were both throwing and closing the distance at the same time, and Islam's head cracked Dustin right in the nose. And when we went back to the corner, he told him it was broken, and they tried to touch it, and he was like, "Nah, I'm good. Like, I'm good." Like that. But you could tell when they touched it, it hurt. And they were telling him to let more combos go, and he was saying, "Yeah, but I can't stand in front of this guy for too long," because he knew the takedown was coming. And I feel like that's one thing that, don't get me wrong, Islam does have striking, but I feel like the threat of the takedown makes his striking look a lot better than it really is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because people constantly worried about that takedown, so your set is always a little bit lower.
Right. But overall, this was definitely fight of the night. Islam got an extra 100K because he also got performance of the night. Kevin Holland got submission of the night. So those are
who got KO tonight?
No, they don't really call it KO tonight no more. It's just they give 3 performance bonuses.
Oh.
Well, 2 performance bonuses in the fight of the night.
The thing that bothered me about this was after this, Islam got on the mic and he talking about he want to move up to get welterweight though. Bro, you got 3 title defenses. Only one of them is against a lightweight. Why don't you run through the division first? You know what I'm saying? Start beating people in your division first before you worried about moving up. And I feel like I get tired of seeing these champions, bro. Like they don't want to steer in their class. They always want to move up and be champ or move down. This old champ thing. It just kind of got it got the rankings a little messed up for me because people don't want to defend their belt, you know.
And it kind of hold up divisions, man.
Big time. Yeah, he did. I give you that. He did. So what do you think should be next for Islam?
Arman Sarukian.
I agree. And I think he'll probably beat Sarukian because Sarukian will be willing. I think Sarukian is too confident in his ground game and he'll be willing to go to the ground with Islam, which I don't think is a good idea.
I don't know, man. I feel like if he implement some of Dustin's tactics, and actually,
Good.
I mean, we only saw Islam off his back one time.
Yeah.
and he looked pretty human. So I mean, we'll see. Who nobody ever shoots on Islam. We don't know what his defensive wrestling looks like. So we'll see. I'm pretty interested.
I really can't stand this guy, and I'm just hoping that somebody just take the belt off of him. Whether it's Armin Sarukian, Michael Chandler, anybody, somebody, Conor McGregor, anybody. I just need somebody to get his belt off of this Dagestani and get him out of my UFC. I'm tired of him.
And the hate is real, man. But yeah, I don't know what's next for Dustin. He don't know what's next for him himself. I didn't get to watch the whole post-fight press conference, so I didn't see his part. But
Move the welterweight, man. Try to make a shot at the welterweight. Get like 1 or 2 fights and then get a title shot. You know what I'm saying? He's already a Hall of Famer, so it won't take much. Give him maybe 1 fight, 2 fights at welterweight. Put him up there. So you telling me you don't want to see Dustin Poirier versus Leon Edwards?
I want to see Dustin Poirier versus anybody. I'm just saying I don't know realistically what's next. That's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
it might have been the last one, and if so, then tip of the hat to him. Great career. I enjoyed every moment of it.
I just got one thing to say, man. All this talk about pound for pound and greatest fighters and stuff, you can't put this guy #1 pound for pound because I feel like he don't deserve it, to be honest. Like John Jones should be pound for pound. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me.
Absolutely.
You know.
John Jones, greatest fighter ever. Period. Point blank.
The reason why people are putting him as pound for pound #1 because he defeated the #2 pound for pound person, which is Volkanovski twice. But you're the bigger fighter, much bigger fighter. So, and not to mention the second fight.
If anything, that benefits Volkanovski on the pound for pound list as opposed to,
yeah,
like when you move up, the person moving up has really, like, he's the only one that can gain pound for pound ranking based off of a win. I feel like when you're defending against the person that came up to you, I feel like you got to go up in order to like submit that pound for pound thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yep, I agree.
Not necessarily ward off someone coming up to you.
I agree.
So that concludes UFC 302. It was pretty decent card overall. It was definitely worth the time. I know you said you wanted to get into the Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I just want to address this real quick. Cannonier and Imavov. I feel like it's going to be a good fight. I'm hoping that Cannonier get that one definitely at the KFC Yum Center. I like the name of that.
At least it's not in the Apex, right?
Yeah, all right. So we got 2 cards that I'm really excited for. Abu Dhabi and Saudi Arabia. They kind of competing for each other, like what my brother said earlier. So this is the Saudi Arabia card. Both the fight nights, too.
Hey, that's gonna be a hell of a fight right there, man. I'm looking for I think Robert Whittaker gonna get that dub.
I start from the top, from the main card. All right. This guy, Sharo Megomedov.
Shara Bullet.
Yeah, he's somebody to watch out for. Kevin Gastelum, Daniel Rodriguez. That's gonna be a good fight. They can go either way. I don't see no odds for another.
I like D-Rod on that one.
Johnny Walker and Uzdemir. That's a good fight too for the light heavyweight.
Yeah, somebody getting knocked out. I like Uzdemir.
Me too. Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Rokov. Drago. That's gonna be a good one too. That's a good co-main event. And then as a main event, we got Bobby Knuckles versus Khamzat Chimaev. Bro, I'm gonna be with you on this one. I got Bobby Knuckles.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Khamzat is a beast, but I feel like he never faced the Bobby Knuckles. I see him. I think if Bobby can survive the first round, then as the fight goes on, he'll end up pulling away and possibly getting the finish.
This fight is going to be at 3 p.m. special start time, and it's also on ABC. So it's available for anybody. All you got to do is have an antenna or basic cable or whatever, he can watch the fight. So that's the Saudi Arabia card.
No, that's the Abu Dhabi card,
I
ain't
mean,
it?
Abu Dhabi card. Yeah, the Saudi Arabia right here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Saudi
that's
Arabia.
Saudi. Yeah, I think the Abu Dhabi card is better.
All right, let's see.
Like volume wise. Even though I didn't see the prelims on that.
Sanhagen versus Magomedov.
I think the winner of that fight is going to get a title shot, and it's kind of crazy. I think the winner of the Hamzat fight should go ahead and go against. See, I think they might go ahead and have Sean Strickland to fight the winner of that fight, while they try to finalize Izzy versus Duplessis.
Yeah. All right, so first up, we got Tony Ferguson versus Makhachev. Crossroads fight for both fighters. Tony Ferguson got to get that.
Yeah, I feel like I hope that's Tony's last fight, win or lose.
Hey, Lupe Godinez versus Mackenzie Dern. Definitely tuning into that fight.
Who you like? I know you like Lupe.
Lupe, my favorite female fighter. Marlon Vera, Davidson Figueiredo.
That's gonna
got
be a banger.
Cheeto. Yeah. Vicente Luque versus your boy Nick Diaz.
I'm going Nick Diaz Army all day.
I'm going Vicente Luque because I haven't seen much from Nick Diaz lately, so I want Diaz to win.
What have you seen from Vicente lately?
Oh, his last fight was horrendous, bro.
His last
Absolutely
couple
embarrassing. And then you got Corey Sanhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Let's go Sanhagen. Put this guy away.
And the reason why they're getting number 10 versus number 2 is for the simple fact that 3 through 9 don't want to fight this guy.
And not just that, this guy right here, this is like the third time they done made this fight. He always pulling out a fight. You know what I'm saying?
No, the last time, well, they Corey just came off the surgery and whatnot, but people don't be wanting to fight Umar.
No, he don't. But I think Sanhagen, he got to be not content with going to the ground and get off his back, you know. But I feel like he got to stand up to do it, though. Definitely.
I think so. On paper, you think this card is better than the main card? Is better than the other one? I think the other card got a more solid main event, but overall, it's like there's not a fight on this card that I'm not excited about.
Yeah, I like these set of fights better, to be honest with you. And this also is at 3 p.m. too. And it's gonna be on ESPN or ESPN Plus, whichever one you got.
All right, so that's pretty much that. You guys, please tune in June 28th at 7:30. We'll be doing a preview for Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor, which takes place June 29th.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a banger. I think they're fighting at 170 as opposed to 155.
Yeah, you're right.
Co-main event, Jamal Hill versus Carlos Oberg. Your boy Khalil Roundtree pulled out of that fight. Oberg stepped in. You got Myro Bueno Silva, former title challenger, versus Meshi Saison. I feel like that fight right there, Bueno Silva and Saison, I feel like this is definitely a crossroads fight for Bueno Silva. She needs to redeem herself and show that she is who she appeared to be. And Meshi Saison, I feel like this is her chance to break through and launch herself into title contention. That division is wide open right now. If Kayla Harrison get that belt, though, it's going to be scary.
Joe Piper coming in for some redemption, too.
Yeah, versus Marc-Andre Barrios, power bar. That should definitely be a banger. I don't see that fight going to a decision. You got MVP versus
Ian Machado Gary.
Ooh. That's going to be fun.
I haven't seen this fight.
Dawson versus Andre Touchy-Feely. That should be fun. Charles Jourdain, Gene Silva. That
Oh,
should
look at
be
my boy right here, Peyton Talbot. Hey,
Peyton Talbot.
this,
Everybody look out for him. I know my brother
yeah.
said something about who was it that you said you're keeping your eye on?
Which one? Did I say that today or?
No, yeah, today. The guy who fought Mickey Gall.
Oh, Basal Hafez.
Yeah, Basal Hafez. I feel like Peyton Talbot is
Oh yeah, he
my
leaves some
version of
down.
that, but I think probably better. Thinking Black, any update on the Roundtree injury? All right, well, here's the thing with Khalil Roundtree. It wasn't an injury. So he uses the supplement company that makes all of his supplements tailor-made just for him. They guarantee no contaminants or whatever, but one of his supplements got contaminated with a banned substance. They contacted him and let him know, and he contacted the UFC to let them know, hey, my supplements have been tainted with such and such. So then they pulled him off the card, and then they tested him. He tested positive, and so he's getting that all straightened out. They didn't. I don't think they suspended him, but I think they gotta just wait till he till that whole process play out and he get back clean again. But I respect the man for, like, obviously he wasn't trying to cheat. You get what I'm saying?
Hey, but can they suspend him from that though? But I mean, if you already like he the one that got in front of it and alerted them, so they wouldn't even know if you wouldn't have said nothing.
Right. I don't think they. I mean, I don't know how that's going to play out. I feel like if they do, it'll be short. It won't be one of those 6 month. They'll probably just say, okay, it's going to take this amount of time for this to be completely out of your system, so we're going to call that a suspension. I don't know how that really works. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would like Chael Sonnen would be somebody that would be good to hear talk about that.
Does he got more juice than Tropicana?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, he stepped up. Appreciate the update. And see, when I first heard they're like, he popped banned substance, I was like, damn, is that why he been knocking people out lately? But vanilla on. Straight up. but then once I saw the circumstances, it made a whole big difference as opposed to how I looked at it. So hey, scroll back down though. It was a fight that I saw in there after the pin.
You talking about Michelle Waterson?
Oh, okay, yeah, man. I feel like she's done.
Hey, Jillian, you need to do your thing in this fight. This is your chance to beat a well-known fighter. You know what I'm saying? You went down in the rankings and you're rebuilding yourself back up. I'm a big fan of you because you're from down here in South Florida. I'm training with Dean Thomas. I met you a couple of times. Do your thing, put this lady out, and send her packing. This is your time to shine. Make a name for yourself.
Yeah, I can see Jillian getting a sub on that one. But this is by far the best card they ever had, a Conor McGregor card.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
Usually, when it's on a Conor McGregor card, it's just a co-main, which is kind of suspect, and then McGregor. They say this fight, the tickets went on sale and it sold out within like a couple of hours.
Not a couple hours, it sold out within an hour. Not a couple, 1 hour.
Unless they add more seats, you can't get tickets to this thing. Already, I think I said it before, already the biggest gate in UFC history.
He texted me and asked me if I wanted to get tickets, but I'm like, no, I'm going to just chill and watch with my brother at his crib. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, that's what happened?
Yeah.
You should have said, yeah, I want my brother too.
I'm going to set this one out. No, sorry, we going to the after party. Oh, I'm going to the after party, so it's all good once you get his victory. So
I think Conor McGregor already had his after party. That man been in the club.
Oh boy, he been partying so hard. That's what worries me.
But Dana was saying he don't know how real those videos are. He don't know how old they are because one of them he don't.
I was gonna say I know how real they are. I just don't know how old they are.
Right. So I mean, you never know with the internet. The internet is a funny place.
Just like these Mike Tyson videos they're trying to promote that was old as hell.
Right.
But yeah.
So that's pretty much it for me. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just looking forward to the Conor fight and the Saudi Arabian Abu Dhabi card. And congratulations to the Panthers last night, going to the finals. So I'm pretty happy about that too.
Yeah, man, the UFC is definitely on fire right now. Hitting us with another banger in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. There's so much on this channel that you can get into. You actually lose yourself on it. We have the Man Talk Monday every other Monday. We have Take Fist Politics on Tuesdays. Wrestling with Reality on Wednesdays. Trevor do his 5 count after every wrestling event, whether it's SmackDown, whether it's Raw, whether it's PLE. So lock in with the channel, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a lot of stuff. You got a lot of YouTube short videos too, and you can check out also.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. And shout out to everybody that's tuning in on Twitter. We really appreciate it. Peace.
Peace.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Straight Talk MMA, hosted by Zay, Bonez, the MMA Brothers.